everyone, Garfum here with a guide on leveling from 1 to 70 in Season 5 on patch 2.4. So in this patch there are 3 major changes to monster health, monster experience, and to massacre bonuses. Now the only thing affecting your leveling from 1 to 70 is going to be the massacre bonuses, because experience granted by all monsters was increased after level 70, and before level 70 their experience has all stayed the same. And the monster health in solo, 2-player, and 3-player greater risks is reduced, but again, that won't affect your process from 1 to 70, since you can't do greater risks until you're level 70. So the one thing that would change the leveling process from 1 to 70 would be the updated massacre bonuses, which is coming with the action combat part of the update, which is a feature that's been on consoles for a while, and now they're bringing it over to PC. So basically what you do is you chain together a bunch of monster kills, and at the end of that chain you'll be rewarded with % of the XP that you got from killing those monsters, with up to 4 times bonus XP after chaining a massacre of 400 or more monsters. So after I read about this new feature, I thought, hey, this sounds pretty powerful. It could definitely speed up the process of leveling from 1 to 70. So I decided to test it out. And here are a few of the things I want to note beforehand that I found out while testing it. First of all, the massacre bonuses are only rewarded outside of rifts, so you can't go into a rift and try to get a massacre. It just won't happen. Another thing to note is that the bonus experience probably isn't being calculated the way you think it would be. If it says you get 1.5 times experience, this means after the massacre ends, you'll be receiving 50% of the experience you got while building up the massacre. It's also been brought up in the community that when you scale the difficulty up higher, the calculations seem to be more and more incorrect or inconsistent, I guess. Meaning, if you get a massacre that says you get 2 times the amount of XP and you're on like Torment 6, apparently it will give you only a fraction of the 200% XP you're supposed to be getting. Now, nobody really knows if this is just a bug in the PTR or if it's intended for the XP to scale this way. We'll just find out when the patch goes live. And one last thing I want to note about the Massacre bonus is that trying to get Massacre in a party doesn't seem to be working very well. It's definitely clunky at best. While I was testing it, it doesn't seem to combine your massacres together with your party members. It seems to be counting them separately. So if you both shoot into a pack of 50 monsters and you kill 20 and your friend kills 30, he'll get a massacre for 30 and you'll get a massacre for 20, and they're counted completely separately. Kind of dumb that it works that way, but that seems to be how it's working currently. So to test out the best way to level from 1 to 70, I did 2 runs. I did 1 run where I did only rifts, and I did 1 run where I did only Halls of Agony level 3, Halls of Agony level 2, and Fields of Misery. And the reason I picked Fields of Misery to add into those is because it's a big open circle where it's easy to get a giant massacre chain. So for consistency between the 2 runs, they were both done solo on Demon Hunters, and they were both done entirely on hard difficulty, and for both of those runs I was getting the PTR drop buff. So here are the results from the tests. Doing rifts only took 4 hours and 15 minutes, while doing Halls of Agony and Fields of Misery took about 3 hours and 47 minutes. So overall, Fields of Misery and Halls of Agony ended up finishing only about 30 minutes faster, which in the overall scope of that leveling process is only 13% faster, which is a pretty small amount, but definitely a noticeable amount. For each run, I also looked at the times that I hit every 10 levels at, so I looked at the time it took to get from levels 1 to 10, 10 to 20, so on up until levels 60 to 70, trying to see if there were any patterns, if it was more efficient early in the game or later in the game, and there was no real patterns. Levels 1 to 10, 40 to 50, and 60 to 70 were the most efficient for Halls of Agony and Fields of Misery. Then levels 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and 30 to 40 were almost even, and 50 to 60 doing rifts actually ended up being faster from 50 to 60. So now that you have all this information on how the Massacre bonus actually works and the data from these tests, you can sort of take that information and interpret the data however you want to decide how to level from 1 to 70, but I'll give you some recommendations for solo players and for people that are going to play in groups. So for players intending on leveling from 1 to 70 solo, I would actually recommend trying out the Massacre bonuses, since it did prove to be slightly faster in solo setting. So what you're going to want to do in your early levels from about level 1 to around level 20 is do an easy map such as Halls of Agony level 3. It's super easy because the enemies are low risk, they have low health, and they give a decent amount of XP, and there's high density, which is why you want to do Halls of Agony level 3. Then after level 20, once you start getting some good AoE skills and mobility skills, you can also add in a bigger map to your pool. So you would want a big map kind of like Fields of Misery, where there's high density areas spread out through the entire map, and the areas of high density are close enough that you can travel between them fast enough to keep the Massacre chain going throughout almost the entire map. Then, once you clear the maps that you want to clear for the massacres, simply leave the game and remake and do those maps over again and just keep getting massacres until you're level 70. So, on the other hand, if you're planning on leveling up in a group, just like last season, a 4-person party is going to be the fastest way to level from 1 to 70. So the strategies I'm going to recommend for leveling in a party is going to be the same strategies that people used last season, because basically nothing changed in group play because of the Massacre bonus. Since it doesn't work well in groups, there's no point in trying to gain Massacre bonuses, since you're going to be like interfering with each other's Massacre bonus. It just won't work out well. So what I will recommend, which is what people did last season, is start in Halls of Agony, because again, there's high density, the mobs are easy to kill, and they're low risk of killing you. And then once you get around level 19, you're going to want to back out, go into story mode, rush to the Skeleton King, make sure you're all level 20, kill the Skeleton King for a guaranteed Leoric's Crown drop, then switch back into adventure mode and do rifts until you hit level 70. And in case you're unaware, the reason you want to go back into rifts to level up until 70 is because there is a double legendary drop rate while you're in rifts. So since you can't really benefit from the Massacre bonuses outside of rifts, you might as well be in rifts getting that double legendary drop rate so you can keep the difficulty as high as you can to get more XP. So to finish off the video, I'm just going to include some general tips in leveling that can be used by both solo players and group players. So before the season even begins, you're going to want to decide what class you're playing so there's no time wasted figuring that out. And so you can also make yourself a skill cheat sheet before the season begins. In that cheat sheet, you're basically just going to put down at what level you're going to take what skill, so you don't waste any time while you're leveling up trying to figure out what skills you want to take. And you can also add the following objectives to your cheat sheet because they're also going to be done at certain levels. So first, right when you spawn into the game, you're going to want to go to your followers and take their weapons, because for some reason your followers' weapons have higher base damage than yours. So you're going to go steal those. Next, once you're around levels 5 or 6, the vendors, the fence vendors, will start selling rings to you. Then around levels 10 to 12, they will also start selling amulets to you. And at those levels, you want to go buy rings and amulets. Once you're level 19, like I said earlier, you want to back out of the game, go into story mode, and go kill the Skeleton King. Make sure you're level 20 and your party members are level 20 if you're in a party, to get that free Leoric's Crown drop. And once you get to around level 45 to 50, you're going to want to level up your blacksmith until he can craft you level 60 weapons. Then craft a level 60 weapon and try to get reduced level requirement on it. And with that weapon, you'll get a huge damage boost, and you can turn up the difficulty, increasing the XP you get. And then as you're getting closer to that level of the weapon, slowly start lowering the difficulties so you can still keep farming things at the same speed. Then once you're level 60 and find a couple Death's Breaths, level your blacksmith all the way up again and craft a level 70 weapon and try to find reduced level requirement on a level 70 weapon and do the same thing again, increase the difficulty and then slowly lower it as you need to. And my last tip is in regards to the most efficient difficulty to be playing on as you level up. You're going to want to aim for 2 to 3 shotting white mobs, and if you're overkilling the mobs, you should raise the difficulty, and if it's taking 5 to 6 shots to kill the mobs, you should really consider lowering the difficulty. So guys, that's all the tips and information I have on the fastest way to level from 1 to 70. Feel free to let me know in the comments how you're going to level from 1 to 70. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like, and make sure to subscribe for more Diablo videos. Thanks for watching everyone, good luck next season, and as always, have an awesome day.